little bumblebee-looking fish, just under 7. The ones that were yellow with the 5 bars going up and down, those were called sergeant majors. They get that name because the high military rank is denoted by the black bars. They're usually pretty friendly fish, but sometimes they'll start nipping at you. They'll get a little bit aggressive if you get too close to their eggs. The males will change their body color from a yellow to a navy blue. So if you see a navy blue sergeant major, just be aware it might start nipping at you to get you away from its young. Now, some of you might be wondering exactly how deep the water is on this reef. This reef is about 25 to 30 feet deep, and then the shallow areas that we go over are only about 10 feet deep. Our boat sits 4 feet in the water, so at all times we have at least 6 feet of clearance between the bottom of the boat and the tops of all these corals, so we're not in any danger of hitting anything out here. Now you guys are getting a great view of some of our corals on the rocks. You'll notice we have hard, stony corals, and then we also have some soft varieties that go back and forth with the waves, and they are all animals, they're not plants. The soft corals are named after exactly what they look like. So the ones that look like rods or fingers branching up, those are called sea rods. The ones that look like plumes or feather dusters, those are sea plumes. And does anyone want to guess what the ones that look like fans are called? Sea fans, yeah, that's exactly right. So it's easy to remember their names. Now you'll notice as we go over this reef, we go from areas of coral to areas of sand, and this repeats over and over again. This reef is in a spur and groove formation. So we have spurs of rocks and corals, and then we have grooves of sand in between that the water runs through. As we go over some sandy areas, I would encourage you guys to look for some of our large predators. We have some nurse sharks that like to spend most of their time in the sand. And we also have a lot of stingrays that like to bury their bodies underneath all that sediment. And sometimes you can just see their outlines or their eyes. So when we go over the sand, I would look for those stingrays. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. Now you guys can still see all of our sea fans on the rocks here, and if you look carefully at them, you'll notice they all face in the exact same direction. That's not a coincidence. Just like flowers like to face the sun, all these sea fans like to face the ocean current, and that's because they're constantly filtering plankton or food out of the water. So they like to have their large, wide surface areas facing that current so they can maximize the amount of food that they can take out at one time. Now over these rocks, you'll notice some pale yellow coral. It looks kind of like smeared mashed potatoes. That's known as encrusting star coral. Now this reef is part of an extensive barrier reef system. Barrier reefs protect us from strong waves. They also have shallow water on one side and deep water on the other. Does anyone know where the longest barrier reef in the world is?
Australia.
Australia, that's right. So the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. This question is a little bit harder. Does anyone know where the second longest barrier reef in the world is? Not here. Well, it's off of Belize, Honduras, and parts of Mexico. So it's called the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef. But everyone should be able to get this question right. Where is the third longest barrier reef in the world? Yeah, right here. So along the Florida Keys. Our reef goes all the way from Key Biscayne in the far north down past Key West, all the way to the Dry Tortugas. So the whole reef system is over 150 miles long. It's not continuous though. It's a series of smaller reefs and larger ones. This is one of the largest ones in the system. This reef is about a mile long, running north to south, and then it's a half a mile wide, running east to west. Now, it is fortunate that we're getting to see a coral reef at all, and that's because reefs only cover about 0.7% of the ocean floor, so less than 1%, but about 25% of all the animals in the ocean use the coral reefs as a habitat. It's the second most diverse habitat in the world next to tropical rainforests. Just to give you guys a sense of size, if you took all the coral reefs and you put them together, it would be about the size of England. Now I'm noticing some branching coral on the rocks just underneath window 8. It's brown, it looks like deer antlers with white tips.